Anton doesn't have severe alopecia.
The texture of my bangs has changed. I've started a new and better stage of my life. Look at my hair and its density.
Okay? Just like...
8 months ago we did a hair transplant to one of the travel bloggers, without naming the clinic where we did. I fully accompanied at all stages, created the surgery plan and supervised all the steps. After 8 months we already got the results, without even waiting 12 months. I am very excited to share this result already now. I would also like to say that this transplant was not a case of a person who is bald and needs to cover large areas of alopecia. It is more of a case where one needs to adjust the front line and add density. Let me remind you that Anton's own hair is fine. Only the front line is not dense enough since his childhood, and it can be said that it is sparse. What does it mean to transplant over 4,000 grafts just to the front line? Let's see what we got. Let's go. Don't forget to please subscribe to the channel and share the video. If you have any questions, you can ask directly in the comments below the video. Within the first hour after the video is released, I actively answer all questions that come in. When did you notice the first visible new hair growth? What month was it?
Exactly after the 5th month it was as if something very strongly began to grow and more dense hair. I noticed it after another haircut. They started growing thicker and getting denser. And they started to grow very quickly.
How can you characterize the 3rd and 4th month after the hair transplant? Because some expect the transplanted hair to grow in the 3rd and 4th month.
At month 3 and 4 months, the results were kind of not very good for the result. There was quite rare hair still. That is really part of the hair did not grow to its full potential, and part of the hair seemed to fall out. I'll show you a picture. It was a little bit of a mess.
Soy una persona amable, amigable y me considero también bastante tímido.
Well, I know because you told me and instructed me in detail that it should take at least 6 months.
It's been exactly 8 months. How do you feel, Anton? Has life changed in any way?
Well, let's start with the fact that I didn't expect such an effect and such a result. I mean, yes, I've seen previous work that you've shown me. Something I've seen myself on the internet. But still, I didn't even expect that I would get such awesome density and such growth. And it happened quite quickly, and in my case on the 5th month. And now that my hair is growing so cool, I'm already thinking that I just have to use this advantage and grow my hair longer.
Are you starting to come up with some new hairstyles somehow? Or, in general, are you still doing hairstyles the same way as before? I mean, a lot more hair has appeared, let's say.
First of all, if I have such dense hair, it would be a mistake to wear short haircuts and not take full advantage of my new benefit. And here's my new haircut. Look how much and how thick my hair is growing now. Even my barber Carlos is shocked.
How fast are they growing? Yeah. Так что...
I think there will be plenty of space for experiments in the future. I'm going to grow my hair now. I've actually stopped cutting it on purpose now. This is the right moment, when I have enough volume and I can grow it back to the length I had before. You remember, I used to comb it to the side like this. Here I did some slicked back. It's a messy hairstyle like this. And now the shape of the line has changed, that is, I can do a lot, teenage youth hairstyles. I can do it like this now, because I have a lot of hair. I can put a chub, I can comb it on the side, and I can experiment as I like. When the hair will grow to the desired length, it will be possible to put the forelock down. So there is a lot of space for imagination. And I have yet to experiment with new hairstyles and stylishness. To choose some option, which in my new current state will be the best option for me. I'm excited. And soon I will be experimenting with my look.
Your hair and its texture, direction can still change.
My hair is growing and will still be adapting.
Right now your hair is already dense and it will be approximately the same. But it may still change a little bit relative to the hair that was there before the transplant.
After all, the hair will still be transformed in some way. It was just a couple of months ago that just for the first time, I got a little bit of an affinity for my new transplanted hair. I mean, I felt that it's kind of like my hair already. Because before that, it felt like it was something alien. Like it wasn't really mine. And now I'm used to it and it's my new hair. Oh, and one more thing. The density and texture of the hair that I had was exactly on the frontal line. I've had such thin, liquidy, thin hair my whole life. And then all of a sudden my hair started growing so much, my new dense, thick hair texture that I used to have on the back of my head. And honestly, there was this, feeling, a sense of consistency. It doesn't feel like it's very thin and rare in the front. Now all my hair is even all over my head. The front has gotten some volume and I think it will be even better.
The main request for a hair transplant in this case was to increase hair density. This bang's hair has been sparse since childhood. And by the way, you might even start using different hair products soon that you didn't use before. Because I pay attention to my guys who even with frontline correction or with a little alopecia, when they get new hair and hair density, new hairstyles bring new pleasant worries into their life. They already start to look for some new products. Go to some good barbers and stylists who come up with new hairstyles for them. There is more volume of hair now. And this, of course, is a huge field for experiments in creating new hairstyles.
But as regards concerns, there are less concerns. Yeah, because you wake up and you don't have to do much with your hair. I used to, to do a hairstyle for a photo shoot, you had to spend a lot of time. First creating volume with a blow dryer, then adding hair paste, and then pouring hairspray over it all, with the goal of making it last longer. Now I don't use hairspray at all. Because my hair is already thick. Even when I walk down the street, I don't use hairspray. Now my hair is not destroyed on the street at all. I realize that my hair doesn't collapse and basically takes shape right after the haircut. After the hairdresser, you have the shape of your hairstyle ready to go. You don't have to do anything at all. And even when you wake up in the morning, you see in the mirror, almost immediately the hairstyle you had yesterday and you don't need to do anything. Like before standing in front of the mirror for half an hour. Now is just waking up and running to a meeting or something.
Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
I'm just shocked.
I create all these videos for you. Write in the comments, hair transplant. All my interviews, in independence, clinics or clients' patients of clinics, I never give questions that I will ask in advance. I want you to see real answers, real emotions and real reactions to my questions.
Wait, I just bought a hairdryer 2 days ago. Can you believe it? My hair's grown out and I still don't have a blow dryer. Although my hair already looks great, I look so refreshed and I feel light. Light on my skin. Then I'm gonna have to get my eyes done by this plastic surgeon.
I want to ask you about men's self-care. There have always been divisions of male and female beauty, cosmetology and procedures that women do and that in rare cases can afford men. What do you think? Is it normal when a woman colors her lips, does a facelift, does breasts, nose, liposuction and more? And why is it considered if a man looks after himself and does the same, then it's something wrong? I just see that I have guys who look after themselves. We do hair transplants. They also ask me and I also find surgeons for them for nose jobs or someone asks about a facelift. My guys aren't doing it to be like Ken in Barbie. They just want to be toned and look good. This becomes especially relevant at the age boundaries closer to 40. They wish to stay in shape. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that regardless of gender, you just have to do what your natural sense of style tells you to do. And everything should be done in moderation. Do not be like such, as you say Ken at Barbie, which can be seen from 100 meters away, because of the fact that he is all remade, it is not clear what he has left real and his own. And porcelain teeth to all this. A nightmare. After all, the main thing is a sense of proportion, a sense of style. A man should have taste. I believe that people who overdo it, they need a helper, a person with taste, like you, for example. They need someone who can say, dude, stop, man, enough. Maybe women just more intensively do some kind of surgeries on the face and skin. Because after all, in men aging is more, let's say, naturally honorable, you know. But women, they always have to be at least 30 years old. If a man is 45 to 50 years old, he is still so macho. Then a woman in her 50s, it's a different story. She needs extra aesthetic care. She feels that she still wants to somehow rejuvenate herself visually.
Men always think that everything is fine as it is, and do not really need to care about their appearance. Probably, too, up to a certain period of time.
A lot of men look their age. And women, although it's considered delicate to say that, yes, age suits them too. But let's be honest, we can say that yes, sometimes surgeries are to a woman's benefit, even I think in most cases. The main thing is that they should be done correctly and under the guidance of professionals, and there should be an aesthetic advisor.
I'd like to ask, of course, how do your loved ones who have known you all your life react to your new hairstyle and hair transplant? I guess they can only react online since you moved.
Yes, my mom sees and admires it via video call. She says to me, son, don't cut your hair anymore. I love it when you have a lot of hair.
Do you remember the first time you told your mom about the idea of a hair transplant?
I think it was when we were sitting together in Istanbul.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
She practically took offense to you and almost got into a fight.
Of course, I'm her creation and there's going to be some adjustments made. She was worried. Any mother would be worried when her son says, Mom, I'm going to have an operation done.
Just the word surgery is scary.
You're right, one word of surgery and it's already anxiety-inducing. But now she is completely relaxed when she saw the result, when Mom saw that everything is cool. It's all good. Her only request now is, son, don't cut your hair, not on the sides, not in the front, not anywhere. Let it grow. I like it so much when you have a lot of hair.
Does hair get curly after a hair transplant? Because I've noticed with some of my guys after hair transplants, sometimes the hair that was transplanted starts to curl. Even though the transplanted hair on the sides or back of the head has seemed straight all their lives, after the transplant it becomes noticeable that it's curly.
Yeah, you know, the texture of my hair on my bangs changed, because they used to be straight in the front. And I guess I got it from my dad. He's curly. And if I have long hair, it starts to curl in some places, I mean at the back and sides. And now I'm getting it in the front. In the front, it's always been this straight. Now that we've transplanted donor hair from other parts, my texture has changed. I feel like they could potentially curl if they were longer. And that means trying different hairstyles.
After 8 months, looking back, what was the hardest part? Was there anything that was challenging?
Deciding was the hardest thing, probably. Because someone does this kind of surgery at 20 years old, 25 years old. I came to it a little bit later, thanks to you, for which I thank you very much. So that's probably an element of determination. Yes, that when you decided to do it, you started doing it. Even though you told me that it wasn't scary and it didn't hurt and so on, but you had to go through it. It was a psychological moment. One last time, styling my gorgeous hair. How long will I have to wait? 3, 4, 5 months. Anyway, I'm gonna have an oasis of hair here soon. An oasis of hair, I said.
Антон Соколов, Россия, нет, Аргентина. Я видел свой план.
Ребят, тяжела неказиста жизнь простого аргентинца.
I thought why not raffle of some of my services among those who really participate in the life of the channel. So, every month I will raffle, first, detailed consultations with a specific plan for your case, with the selection of the right doctor and clinic. 2 additional promo codes to clinics. Third, frontline modeling. hair system video. Accordingly, I will raffle off hair system services and possibly and even raffle off a hair system or some accessories in the future. I'll also raffle off a year's support, my personal support for a year. I will personally guide you to the result.
Well, the moment, of course, when the first months after surgery, you don't see, yet, the result. Well, and somehow it's not quite clear what's going to happen. It's before the doubts. Sometimes you think, man, what have we done here? Will it look the way I want it to? Or how will it look? And then after about the 5th or 6th month you realize, well done. Deep breath. This is awesome. And you just thank fate 1,000 times that this happened. That you came to this and now your life won't be the same. Luxury travel blogger and hair transplant expert on her way to surgery. No Mercedes today.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo. I think there's
How do the people around you react? Do they ask you?
Since I moved to a new country and I have mostly new acquaintances here, they don't know what happened before.
Is it visible and noticeable that you had a hair transplant?
At first they noticed, but because of some natural gallantry or shyness, they don't say anything. Only when you ask the question yourself, they say, well, sort of, yeah. We noticed, we thought it was embarrassing to ask and all that. But it was only noticeable for the first few months. You can't tell now. Here, when the hair was sparse and when there was a short haircut, it was visible, yeah, that it was transplanted. But now I think, especially when it grows back, it won't show at all. And I'll tell you that in Instagram and stories, when I started to post already grown hair, yes, when the volume started to grow, a lot of people got interested. They started to write comments like this, wow.
Вы даже не представляете, что еще мне сегодня перепало.
Your hair is so thick now.
Remember when they asked you at the beginning? Like, why are you doing this? Did you have a problem with that? Basically, it always seems that only those who have lost almost all of their hair and have severe alopecia are getting hair transplants. And often many people do not consider hair transplants as a matter of thickening sparse areas. And sometimes the real you can actually do better and, well, let's just say invest in yourself on this side. You need the right expert. Let's do Anton's transplant. You ready? Well, I guess he's ready. Guys, let me show you what my plan is for Anton's head. Well, look, he doesn't have any distinct alopecia, really. It's just, let's say, age-related hair loss and a slightly shifted frontal line due to an enlarged forehead. And if you look in depth, you can see that the hair is sparse. But Anton's hair was originally like that.
There's always been a little hair in the front here.
And this side need a little bit down also, because it's shorter.
The hair at the back of Anton's head is much denser than in the front. And also with the presence of gray hair, which will give additional volume.
I think many people after seeing my result were impressed and decided to do it. Those who had about the same initial source material as me. Yeah, so they didn't have big areas or any critical points. Even in our communication, some of my subscribers write that yes, you in your case finally convinced us that it is necessary to do a hair transplant. And really after my case, people have become ready. And many of them have already done it, some of them are going to do it. I can see that they seem to be doing well. And for the first 6 nights, I slept on my back.
Any tips from someone who's been through it all?
Look, I'm lucky because you helped me. Yes, and it's not just because you and I connected, and it's because that's how I was lucky and fortunate to go through all this with a real professional like you. But just from the outside looking in, I would like to advise all the guys who want to do a hair transplant that they, not to go into this depths alone. It takes a professional and the advice of an independent expert like you. And it's not just a question of hair transplant techniques or some technical points, but needs support and confidence that you are under the control of a professional. Here are psychological moral feelings. It is very important to feel that you are going through it with a person who already knows what it is and who guides you. That is, starting from the preparation for the operation, some moments, psychological mood, and ending even during the operation itself. Well, when the front line was drawn, I chose it.
I remembered how you slept through the whole operation, because you knew that I would supervise everything. It's understandable. I mean, sometimes it's better to just trust and just relax. And get the result.
Trust is very important.
Usually it is considered that the most difficult period is right after the operation. But in your case, everything was smooth, and I don't think you had anything super complicated. Do you remember how we washed your head, moisturized it, monitored its condition?
Of course. Because you provided full support. I didn't look anywhere for information. I didn't look for anything on the internet. I didn't Google. I practically didn't have to look for any answers to questions.
First of all, you should prepare for surgery if you're going to do it yourself. To know what you can and should expect so that you can deal with everything in the best way possible.
Well, you know, you woke up on the second day, your whole face is swollen, and you're thinking, God, what happened? What to do and how to avoid it? And you immediately tell me to do this and that, and the swelling went down almost immediately. How can a person know this when clinics do not know about it, do not track their clients as you do? This is experience and interest in the result on your part. Whenever I panicked, you always told me, yes, it's all normal. This is how it should be and so on. That is, I went through everything very easily. So, even if someone does not have such helpers, such guides to the world of hair transplantation, it may sound like an advertisement, but let them turn to you. It will be the most correct decision.
Almost all the answers to the questions are in my videos on the Russian language channel. We will also gradually translate them into English. If you don't have time to watch the video, order a detailed consultation where I will tell you personally on your specific case and build a plan of action in order to get the result. Each case is unique. We'll see exactly what works best for your case. Plus a clinic promo code will help make your transplant even cheaper. We have already discussed with you that it is not so important what you do, but how you do it and the importance of an independent expert. We talked a little bit literally, even about plastic surgery, this sense of proportion and sense of taste. You have to research it all and you can't just see an Instagram ad and buy it and then have no regrets. After all, about 20% of my detailed consultations I deal with such cases, when they made a transplant for $1,500 or $2,000 and now you have to think how to fix it all. You can't try other people's results on yourself. You remember, even for your case, I looked specifically at your request, budget and choose the clinic, who will do the best and which doctor. Some people need to distribute as evenly as possible, some want a supernatural front line, some just want to thicken the hair like you, and other requests. These are all different transplants and different tasks that require different doctors and budgets. So technically, your healing was very, very simple and very quick. And speaking of the recovery of the donor area, when did you notice that there was no visible effect of the hair transplant? transplant. At first it was noticeable, and that's normal.
I think the donor area started to recover after 4 months. I even had a moment when I wrote an article about having a hair transplant. And there were pictures of the surgery and the post-op period. I took some first selfies with some intermediate results. And there were sometimes toxic comments like, "Why don't you show the back of your head? We know all your bald spots on the donor area that the clinics hide." And I specifically took a picture of the back of my head in response to that. I sent him the photo in the comments and he changed from anger to mercy. He wrote then, "Yeah, it's cool." Nothing noticeable, and started wondering what clinic it was.
I think it's a good question from your subscriber to ask questions and wonder, because it is very common for clinics to spoil the donor area and keep quiet about it. A lot of clinics show usually in their portfolio only frontal photos, and that's it.
The guys who follow me on social networks also react very positively. How your hair started growing so thick. Why so much? Why so fast?
Do you remember that moment when we just had a hair transplant? They asked you why you were doing the hair transplant in the first place.
They asked me and they didn't understand. What are you going to change if you're fine? You have your own hair. What's your idea? What's your fancy? Why do you need it? And now many of them, by the way, also decide to make a correction of the front line or add volume. And that's after they've seen my success story. Let's call it that. They're seriously asking me where I got my hair transplant and how to get there. But I remember you telling me that it's important to choose a clinic for each request. And if you remember, I chose in the beginning a clear position that until I see the result myself, at least some intermediate, I will not in social networks. Nowhere, not even to my friends, to tell what clinic I did it. This was my principled position. It was only after about 6 months that I realized what I could say.
Today I am focusing on his hair transplant clinic, a division of his main clinic. I found out about it through your comments and asked to visit it.
It was thanks to you that I got there. It was very important for me to have a professional like you make a choice for me on the basis of my specific case.
Let me remind you for the 1000th time that every hair transplant is not just a choice of a clinic based on good advertising and cheap price. And it is reckless to think that at least something and somehow they will transplant on your bald spot.
So, tell me, how can this art be cheap?
After the first interview, some people left comments under the video and criticized the paintings. I'm sure that art comes in many forms and not everyone can understand it. But what is important to me is that a person feels the need to create and not just do technical job. To me, that's no small thing if a person has an affinity for art, and it shows in everything.
He draws as he sees, and he sees human nature. So, I remember the first time we came to the clinic to talk, back then, just to discuss the surgery. And I then, it was at the level of some kind of scanning. Let me say of the human biofield. And I realized that these guys are serious. And I didn't know at that time how it would go, how it would look like in the future. We talked to the doctor, and they conveyed a sense of confidence with their behavior and energy. I can say that even then I realized that I was in the right place.
It is very important to analyze the situation completely. What you have, what age, what diseases, some dynamics of hair loss, what donor stock, and so on. We always consider all this in a detailed consultation. Then we make a plan. And depending on all these factors, the third point is the modeling of the front line. Because the front line is very important in a hair transplant. It's something you're going to live with. For some it doesn't matter. But until you regret not thinking about it earlier. The next thing is choosing the right clinic, the right doctor for your specific case, because clinics are different from each other. Just like doctors can be different from each other in their specifics. Some doctors are very good at covering large and huge areas of baldness. Some doctors emphasize the front line specifically and create those unique front lines that are indistinguishable from heads that have never undergone a hair transplant. Some doctors are great at increasing hair density in areas where you have sparse hair. For each individual case, you need to choose the right clinic and the right doctor and his or her permanent team who will properly implement the plan we've laid out. and you will personally get results.
в жизнь, и вы получите результат.
And then in the process, all the preparatory work, the surgery itself, how it was done, what kind of composition, and how the doctor himself worked. My modulations of my frontal line. Yes, you argued with them, but it was all discussed and agreed upon. And it was all right at a level that allowed me to be confident that all was well. But, of course, there was still a little bit of uncertainty and insecurity.
Uncertainty?
Yes, the first time, anyway, and then I thought, no, I will not tell anyone anything where I did the hair transplant. I'll tell them later, when I'll either praise or criticize, but tell the truth. Now I can absolutely objectively say that the guys are very cool and just thank them very much for such a result, which just even really surpassed all my expectations.
And this is not even the final result yet. It's only the 8th month.
Yeah, you're right. Like you said, the hair can still transform for a while in the formation of my final hairstyle. The texture of the hair is still changing, the direction of growth, the volume of the hair. I'm already very happy and I'm sure it will be even better. It's gonna be wow. So I am very happy and thank you for your help.
In this video, I'll raffle off for free my detailed 30-minute consultation and go over your specific case with doctor selection, creating a plan and so on. You'll need to subscribe to the channel, give me a like, and write hair transplant in the comments. Your face and appearance is your asset. It's also your self-confidence, and I think it can also affect your work.
I think it's going to affect all my content.
See.
Now I will be able to not mask those very sparse bangs of mine, but be at my best with a great looking hairstyle. And like I think I look so much younger as well.
Yeah, and it's even a time saver. You used to get ready all the time before every photo shoot. You had to prepare your hairstyle, make volume, and now you have your hairstyle ready any minute.
It used to happen, you know, that you do some photo shoot in the nature and my hairstyle is destroyed in the wind instantly. And then you see it on the finished photo. And then you have to do something in Photoshop to correct all these rare places that turned out badly. Now, of course, we'll save time and will not have to use Photoshop so actively to correct the hair. I am very happy because it gives me many advantages. Someone will ask me, what are the disadvantages then? There are no disadvantages. First of all, I want to say that this was probably the best decision, at least one of the best decisions in my life. And the first thing I want to recommend is not to be afraid if you are under the control of Valyn. If you are just thinking about it, or maybe you have been looking in the mirror all your life, maybe like me, and thinking, I would like to tweak my hairstyle, thicken my hair, then contact Valyn and take action. And even if you don't have a critical case of alopecia, but just want to give your face the look that will suit you more internally, the way you see yourself, then don't be afraid. Together at Valyn you will think through all the details and realize your vision. If you think for several years over the transplant, make a decision, then you can be calm. After all, now for these 10 years, technology and techniques of hair transplantation have advanced far. And hair care is really not as complicated as it may seem in the beginning, when you're not going through it yet. You're asking yourself questions. Oh, how am I gonna sleep?
A lot of people are afraid of anesthesia.
Yes. And what will happen next? Swelling or some kind of crusts after the hair transplant? By the way, I didn't have any crusts at all. Maybe it's just my case, maybe the clinic took a special approach to me, but I didn't have any crusts after the hair transplant at all.
You had one of the easiest cases ever.
I went through it very easily.
I always remember you just sleeping and snoring through the whole surgery, just not even worrying about anything. At one point you just woke up, went to the bathroom and went back to sleep. Then you woke up again and said, is it over already?
I guess not everyone probably goes through everything so super easy. I don't know how relevant my case is, but based on my personal experience I can say that it's very simple. As they say, fear is great, and in the end there is a feeling of gratitude that you have gone through all this. That you wanted and did and got the result. And after that even a burst of strength appears. And I can say more, it's like I'm on the threshold of a new life. Care after hair transplantation is actually not complicated, and it is interesting to watch the hair growth afterwards. There are some small doubts or questions at the initial stages. Oh, maybe not enough hair transplanted. Oh, but they somehow fall out. Oh, they don't grow much. Well, it's all just a matter of getting through it. And know right away that this is the way it's supposed to be. And be sure of it. In my case, for example, after 5 or 6 months, satisfaction came. And it's a joy when you look in the mirror and see all that volume. That lush hair growing like mushrooms after rain.
Вот, как вам новая моя стрижечка. Даже не представляете.
And that's about the shampoo. I think it's important too. I recommend getting some normal shampoo. Here in Argentina I found a shampoo by some local craft brand. It's made of organic materials with some herbs and smells like honey. Shampoo and conditioner. Here I bought it and my hair feels perfect. So, I want to advise you guys, try not to buy and use cheap shampoos. I won't name their brands, but which you see in large quantities in supermarkets every day. Try to avoid multi-purpose shampoos and try to buy either professional shampoo lines or organic shampoos. Natural shampoos that are just right for you. I think there is a large selection of such shampoos in different countries. You just need to search a bit or ask advice from professionals or hairdresser. A good salon will definitely recommend something good for your head and hair. Try 1 or 2 brands. Choose something for yourself, something that your hair likes best. And you'll notice the difference right away, because new hair needs the right care. To make your hair even thicker, healthier and shinier. To make your hair look fresh and healthy. Because it will now be your asset. What you were embarrassed about before may now be a reason to be proud of. For me, for example, it's like this.
Let me remind you that all expenses for my flights, visits to doctors and interviews with them, traveling around the world, including participation in forums and so on, I pay at my own expense. Thank you for using my services, supporting the channel and using all my services that allow, respectively, to do all this for the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. And remember I asked you 8 months ago about hair transplants being an investment in yourself? Now is probably a good time to evaluate whether it's an investment.
I even feel like something like this should be worth more than I paid. The effect and impact on life is tremendous. Because it's not just hair that appears or gets thicker and also changes the shape of the face. Behavioral patterns change. That is, the inner psychology changes. You begin to be more confident in society, behave differently, and somehow differently begins to form your communication with the surrounding. With people I know and with strangers I feel more confident. I don't know, it probably sounds loud, but it's like a new life is starting. 100% some new stage of life, that's right, there's a line before the surgery and after. And it's clearly felt, honestly. And in my case, moving to a new country. The beginning of a new life in a new country.
Completely new life.
Usually, you know, there are certain things by which we determine the age of a person, and hair is one of the external criteria. And even if you don't have strong hair problems and clearly defined alopecia, but still with age it becomes less frequent. Voluminous hair immediately gives a head start to the appearance and makes the face look younger. Again, you don't even have severe hair problems, you don't even have severe balding in typical paternity. I have guys out there with 7th degree alopecia. In their case, hair transplantation brings back youthfulness for at least 10 years. But even in your case, you can see that your face is very youthful. And you know, I actually think it's from the inside out. You're doing a seemingly external operation, but that external operation has an effect on the inner world.
Some kind of healing internally.
Yes, you start to radiate positive emotions and live the life that you fully want to live. You have everything coincided. New life, new country, new hair, new friends, new company, everything is new. All in one.
That's why hair transplantation is a yes, yes, and yes again.
Let it grow. The shortest way to a new hairstyle.
oasis.
Вы даже не представляете.